Welcome, 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 everyone. I am so excited about the conversation we are about to have. Hey there, Valorie Bud. I just saw you in our SWA call today. You just hopped into another hour with me. Christine and Cecilia, good to have you. All right. Well, we're going to have some others that will be dropping in, but I just want to welcome everyone. We're calling it our Fireside Chat about APC, and I'm excited because we've got some graduates from our Advanced Professional Coach program, and of course, that is officially launching. We had our Pioneer cohort last year, and we have our first official, I guess, non-Pioneer cohort, which will start in February with orientation and classes starting in March. And so it's wonderful when we talk about our programs. It is far, far better when those who have been in the program get to talk about it. I always feel like it's particularly helpful for those who are thinking about where they want to go next with coaching. And so we gathered up 3 of our pioneer graduates. We call them our pioneers because when we opened APC up in the summer of 2024, so about a year and a half ago, we opened up registration. We started the program in September, and they are our pioneers because they were willing to be the first people to experience the curriculum, to experience what we pulled together in really trying to help coaches go to a whole new level and really understand what it looks like to advance to those next levels, even beyond certified personal and executive coach. And so they kind of took a chance on us. All of them graduated from CPEC, so they had a good feeling that this would go well. But we appreciate them jumping in as pioneers. So I want to introduce you to 3 of those pioneers in just a moment. But also, we want to celebrate those who have graduated from our program. We had 27 people go through APC as pioneers and just demonstrate an extraordinary commitment to going to the next level with coaching. And I think what it is really significant in this, the thing I feel extraordinarily proud of, because it was the intention that we set. One of the things that I identified as we started working on our curriculum, and it was partially influenced by my journey as a master certified coach, having been coaching since 2002, and then becoming an ICF PCC evaluator, in understanding that there's really about 3 levels of coaching mastery. And that's actually a foundational course in APC. That part of going to the next level of coach is understanding what it looks like at different levels. And so our goal with APC is teaching at the highest level of mastery, really believing that at the very least we are achieving that second level, which is in the ICF world would be PCC, but making sure you understand what it looks like to be at the MCC level, even if you never ever plan to go that far as a coach. Only 4% of credential coaches hold an MCC, but that doesn't mean that you can't coach at that level. So we wanted to really teach that, knowing that if we pull you up to the highest level, we know you're going to hit that APC mark, that PCC mark at the very least. And so, as many of you know, we were able to obtain our accreditation as a level 2 accredited coaching education provider. Almost as soon as we completed APC earlier this year, we applied. We submitted 5 of our coaching recordings from our APC pioneers that would show that they were coaching at the PCC level or higher. And we could have chosen more than 5 because that's how good our pioneers are and how much they learned. But when we submitted all 5 of those, all 5 passed with flying colors without needing to resubmit anyone's recording. And so we're really super proud of that. A part of kind of a little distinction, if you're wondering, in the APC program that I think is important to make is because we're accredited at level 2. Part of what that means is that when someone decides, and if they decide to apply for their PCC, that we evaluate our APC recordings for PCC level coaching. So when you finish and you submit your recordings, one of our PCC evaluators, and at this point, more than half of our faculty overall, even in CPEC and CTI, are ICF PCC evaluators. So when you're learning, even in coaching labs, that's the lens that you're learning through. But when you're evaluated at APC, we're saying this person coaches at the PCC level because that's what we're required to be evaluating as a level 2 accredited program. So even if you never go get the PCC, know that getting through this program and earning your certification as an APC is saying this is the level where you coach. The significance of that is that you may not have done 500 client hours yet, but you may be coaching at this advanced professional coach level, which is a level 2 accredited program. So I want you to be keeping that in mind, even if you have a longer term goal of PCC. But the 3 ladies I'm about to introduce you to, I mean, all our pioneers are awesome. You're going to see these ladies are just on it. They are amazing coaches, amazing professionals, and all 3 of them are now professional certified coaches. All 3 of them have earned their credential at the PCC level from the ICF, which we're super proud of. And they are not the only ones. There are others who've earned their credential either at PCC or ACC if they had not applied before since graduating from the APC program. So let me introduce you to these 3 ladies. So Dr. Carol Parker-Walsh. Hey, Carol, how is it going today? So,
It's
Carol,
good.
it's going good. Carol, tell me where you are.
I am in Washington State. So
Washington.
I'm 3 hours south of Seattle and closer to the border of Portland, Oregon. So about 25 minutes from downtown Portland.
Very nice. Out west. For some reason, I had Washington in my head, but I had Washington, D.C. in my
Yes,
head.
most people do, which is why I throw the state in there. No, we're in rainy Washington right now.
Well, we've got a lot of rain here outside Atlanta today as well, and I love it that you're out west. I grew up out west, not as far west as you, but Colorado. We consider ourselves West Coast, and
Yeah.
it's good to have you, Carol. You've done a lot in your career. You've got a PhD in human development and social systems. Not surprising that you would have had an interest in coaching, and you've got your own coaching practice. You're a speaker, you're a strategist. I've probably missed some things. I know you've got some really great certifications and certificates from Harvard and Oxford and Dartmouth. I mean, I'm guessing love of learning is in your top 5 strengths, maybe?
Yes, it actually is.
It's in
It's
mine
right up
too.
there. Yes.
So I recognize it. So I want you all to meet Dr. Carol Parker-Walsh. I'm also going to bring in Deborah Leben. Deborah, okay, Taylor's really good at bringing everybody in one at a time, like I'm Oprah today. But Deborah also, like Carol, has got a successful coaching practice. I think your background, particularly because you've got a lot of this federal government experience, is pretty phenomenal. Deborah's got a Master of Science degree in Technology Management from George Mason University. She is in the DC area because that's Virginia. Are you still there?
I'm in West Virginia now.
You're in West Virginia now. Um, but you've been a professor of forensic science at George Mason. You've worked for the Department of Homeland Security. You've worked for the Department of the Treasury. Now, Carol went through CTI in 2020. You were in one of our first class, maybe our first virtual CTI classes, and then went into CPEC. And Deborah, you went through CTI in 2022, finished CPEC in the summer of 2023. Is that right?
That's correct.
Awesome. All right. And then thirdly is Dr. Maureen Kwende. Maureen,
Hello.
welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good to have you. Now, you and Deborah have George Mason University in common.
Yeah.
You've got your
Mhm.
PhD in learning technology and design research. That is fascinating to me. Probably another lifelong learner. Is that a good?
Yes, that's true. Just like for Carol. Yeah.
So, not only have you had your own business, but you are also a member of the Maxwell Leadership Certified team.
Yeah.
Is that how you first connected with CAP? Is my association with Maxwell Leadership?
Yes, that's exactly how I connected with yes, with CaPP Institute.
Awesome, awesome. And Maureen, where are you? Are you in
I am
Virginia?
in Virginia, but not like Deb who's in West Virginia. I'm in Northern Virginia.
You're in
So
Northern
closer to
Virginia.
DC. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. My dad's up in Northern Virginia. I love that area.
Yeah.
I just appreciate y'all joining me. You may not know how proud I am of you. I think all of you have posted on social media recently when you got your PCC. One of the
Yeah.
things we love at the CAP Institute at this point, almost every week, somebody's posting about getting their ACC, their PCC,
True.
and we're celebrating it because it takes a lot of work. I mean,
Mm.
it's doable, but it's not necessarily, it's not a given. And the ICF also will kick back those recordings and and have you redoing things. I mean, I think there's been a lot of progress made for the professionalization of coaching and making sure that the credential really, really means something. Obviously, when you take the ICF exam, it's proctored now. When I earned my PCC back in '06, it was just online and open book, and it wasn't, I'm going to say it's that hard. I don't know how many people passed it, but I think it was probably just about everybody. And by the time I did the MCC and that proctored exam, did y'all probably didn't sweat. You're lifelong learners. Did anybody sweat the exam?
I studied a lot for it.
Yeah, I did too. What do you feel like might have been the secret for you to passing it? Did any of you have to retake it, or did you look and go, "Oh, I did it"?
Yeah,
No,
no, I was
I
very excited that they passed me immediately. But like Deborah said, a lot of studying. I mean, really digging into the code of ethics, looking back at previous recordings, going through, looking back at the practice that we did together,
Mm,
taking those practice tests over and over again, giving in between time. Um, because my memory is such that I could take it over and over again because I don't remember what I said last time. So yeah, a lot of practice and reading went into it. So yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Deborah, what were you going to say?
I reviewed all the videos from our APC class and then CPEC when I was taking the ACC. And I also did buy some recommended books that came up during the class that were offered by some of your trainers.
Mhm.
And then I worked with a community. Just
Yeah,
we kind of went through some questions and I watched some videos. I read everything on the ICF website,
me
went through
too.
the PCC markers. Even when I was going for my ACC, I looked
Yeah.
at all the PCC markers and watched some videos on that. It was very helpful in preparing for the test.
Yeah.
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 That was the same
But
for me too. It was the same.
we did it, but it did make us sweat a little bit. Honestly, when I finished it, I was like, I don't know if I passed or not. I
Yeah, when
feel
I
like
in the middle of taking it, I thought, oh well, when will I reschedule this? And so I
yeah.
was very happily surprised. Very pleasant, It was great to see that I passed. And actually I passed pretty well. So
Yeah, that's how I felt. I was like, "Oh, this is a very respectable score," but I honestly didn't know for sure because some of it there's just little nuance and it could go one way or another. But either way, you did it, and I love something you just said, Carol, which was if I didn't pass it, then I just got to figure out when I'm going to reschedule it. And I
Hmm.
think that's the attitude to take as you grow as a coach, that nothing is definitive because, this coaching session didn't go exactly as it could have, or this exam didn't. It's a commitment to being a professional coach. And so I kind of want to start there because I had a conversation with a CPEC graduate recently who has registered for APC, and she wasn't planning to. um, in the course of conversation, she said, because she's got a successful practice, and she said, I just don't feel like I really need it. Like I'm doing great. I've got plenty of clients. Um, and I said, you know what? I can relate to that because I was a PCC for 18 years and I didn't have to be an MCC. Um, Nobody was going to keep me from doing what I was already doing, and it wouldn't necessarily change how I coach. But I realized I really love this profession because of its power to transform people's lives and to help them grow into the people they're meant to be and to seize those opportunities that could otherwise kind of pass them by. And I realize if I'm dedicated as a coach, if this is my chosen profession, why wouldn't I want to go further in my training or my designation? It's just a reflection of my belief in the field of coaching. That's it. It doesn't mean I'm a better coach or not. It might, because if I go further, that means I've got to go further in my kind of study of coaching and demonstrating what I know. But for me, it was really more of I'm committed and I'm leading people, I'm coaching people, I'm leading people as a coach. And if I'm qualified, if I've got the hours to go further, what would be my reason not to? I'm wondering for you all, what was it that led you to say, even though you're all certified personal and executive coaches, you've got advanced education, right? Um, and yet you jumped on the opportunity to go through another coach training program. And I'll start with you, Maureen. What was it that led you to say, yeah, I want to do the APC program?
Yeah, because one of my favorite quotes by Steve Jobs is "Be a yardstick of quality." For me, it's really about when I want to do something, I do it really well. I had gone through CTI and I'd gone through CPEC, and I knew that there was a desire for more. There was that desire for me to take it up a notch, to the next level. I didn't want to just coach being like a problem solver, for example, like how most ACC coaches would want to coach. I really wanted to look at coaching from the perspective of being the coach versus doing the coach. So
Mm,
that was really for me. I really wanted to be that coach for leaders and executives. So for me, that was the main reason.
that's so good. Carol or Deborah, any thoughts on what compelled you when you saw the program was open to go ahead and say, yeah, I want to go to another level as a coach?
Yeah.
Well, for
So, okay, go ahead, Deborah.
yeah, thank you. Well, for me, I wanted to be the best coach I could be, and I had when I looked over the different programs and the levels, I knew I wanted to go for MCC. So this was part of the process. But then when I saw you coach Valorie on the John Maxwell conference, the IMC, and I saw how you
Oh, you were
coached.
at Maxwell too. I didn't make that connection, Deborah.
I said, and when I saw you coach, I'm like, okay, I am following Valorie wherever she's going because she is an amazing coach. And so when I found out the APC, and I actually found out about the program from another, John Maxwell has accountability partners, and someone who had went through your program saw your message through SWA and told me about it, knowing where I wanted to go next. And so I went to your information session and I signed up right away.
Mm, mm. Okay, so you had a little inspiration from watching me coach. That makes me feel good.
Very smooth.
Yeah,
Carol.
I had a little bit of
Very good.
a different approach to it. So in addition to my doctor, I was a lawyer for a lot of years. So I had my law degree as well and had gone, through the bar exam. I swore I wouldn't like take anything else. But when I initially got my ACC, which I did, was to have their credentialing in a recognized profession. I wanted to go through that process to get that. And then as I started transitioning my practice where I'm doing more organizational consulting and getting more corporate work, I primarily do that work. I started noticing that they really wanted a PCC level of coaching. And so when I really signed up initially, it was like to get my PCC. It wasn't because I thought I was a good coach. So it wasn't like I thought, oh, let me go deeper, let me learn more. I'm like, oh, I got to go through this process to get to the PCC. It wasn't until I got into it that everything changed for me in terms of I mean, I did go into it. I never go into things not thinking I'm going to learn something, but not at the depth of what Maureen said about really becoming, not just doing. And that was a transformation in the process that happened in between. But I went into it because I knew that I wanted to get my PCC and I knew that was the pathway.
So both you and Deborah are like, I know the level, the coaching credential I want to have, and this is the process I have to go through. Maureen was saying, I have some things I want to accomplish as a coach. Carol, when you say, and then I got into it and I realized, what did you realize? How did you change as a coach during the process of going through the APC program?
Yeah, so someone who, I mean, I've had a career, as I said, I've had a legal career as a lawyer. I've had a career in academia where I was a professor and associate dean. I like taught and mentored students. So I had that before I started my practice 11 years ago. So I'm a really good strategic advisor, and I know how to support people and tell people what to do. That was bleeding into my coaching. And so and I realized that a lot of my people were looking to me for answers as opposed to me supporting them. So the lines had got blurred a bit when, I mean, I coach, but the lines got blurred. So going through the program, what happened for me was understanding, one, the lines were blurred. Two, that I didn't need to be the expert in the room, that I really was not doing some of my clients a service by letting them tap into their own wisdom and helping them find that wisdom and really seeing myself, shifting my view of self as needing to be the one that knew everything and
Mm.
being the one that held space for my people to learn what they needed to learn. And that was the shift for me, because I had always been in that kind of captain seat, if you will, of the one who had the knowledge and the expertise and the experience after a 30 plus year career. But shifting that to it's not about me and it's not about, being the sage on the stage. It's really about being, as they say, the guide on the side, the one who's really just holding space for all of the brilliance that my people come to me with to tap into that and utilize that because that's going to be much more lasting than me being the one who is serving in that consulting. I still do consulting, but now it is completely different when I say we're going to go into coaching and I'm very clear about what that looks like and what that means for them. And in the process, while I was in the program, when I was coaching the same clients that were coaching before, they were like, "What's different? Something's different. Like this session
They
feels
felt
different."
it.
Oh my goodness, they would say this session feels different, and I was pushing muscles, pushing them in a way that I hadn't before that at the end of it, they were like, this was really good, or I got something really from this, or I like the switch, or some people didn't like the switch, but they still went
They wanted
through.
answers.
Right,
Tell me
exactly.
what to do.
Exactly. But at the end, they got so much more. And so it
Mm.
had elevated, oh my goodness, it elevated not only the relationship with my clients and the coaching with them, but the outcomes that they were able to get from it when I really stepped into understanding what it meant to truly be a coach.
That you said it all right there because they got what they needed because you
Yes.
shifted. Maureen, what evolved or changed for you as you were learning through the APC program? It is different. It's not the same as CPEC. What changed for you?
I would say it's like Dr. Carroll actually read my notes 100%. I had that same experience when I was looking for many coaching opportunities that would always get the requirement, oh, you have to be ICF, you have to be ICF. But once I was in the program, just even working with the faculty and just even being in those live coaching sessions, I was like, wow, like how can I really coach like this, you know? And then
Mm.
I had the opportunity to have the one-on-one with the mentoring sessions, right? When they would go through my recording and then they would actually tell me one-on-one feedback. as in, this is where I think you're going, and you said you want to go this direction. That's how you should be going. So I had the same problem where my lines were blurred, right? Being an assistant professor, in college, I was just used to telling people what to do, I'm always telling people what to do. So it was hard for me not being the hero, right? And being the guide instead. It needed really a shift in mindset, for me to really be that coach. And I also want to say that I was lucky to, or privileged to have people that I was coaching at the same time when I was in the APC program. Initially, the client gave me about 30 leaders that I was coaching and then training at the same time. So,
Wow.
so while I was there, I was practicing live, and then and those were kind of like supervisors. And before you know it, they added middle managers to the mix, right? So I now went to about coaching about 70 leaders. And then hearing them when I was applying all the strategies from APC, and them at the end of the session, they're like, "So when's the next one? When's the next one?" It's like, okay, it's like, okay, they wanted us to figure out there and then. I need to do when we're coaching again. So it made me feel really proud of myself because I was really stepping up, and just knowing from APC when you're wanting to go into your coaching sessions, how I prepare to go into that coaching session and decide right away who I
Mm.
want to show up as, and the impact that I want to make. And then after the coaching session, taking the time to reflect on, evaluate my own self, like how did it go, Maureen? What could I have done differently? And then being able to have my own community of coaches. Deb and I, we coach together, so we would come back over the weekend and then we would talk about it. It's like, oh my gosh, this is what happened. So that all of that support really helped me to step up my game. And today, that same organization, they've added like more leaders. I have like about 100 of them.
This is amazing. I want to come back to that because I'm pretty sure you landed a really nice coaching contract that
Yeah.
has you putting all of these skills to use um, constantly. Um, Deborah, I'm curious for you now that something I'm hearing from Carol Emery is the telling people what to do, which of course we explain in CPEC, right? Like coaching is not telling, etc.
Mhm.
From your perspective, what is it that shifted for you from CPEC to APC, even in those areas where, hey, we explain that, we teach that in CPEC, but somehow it evolved, you evolved in a different way as a coach in
Mhm.
APC. What was that like for you?
Well, it was a lot of learning for me because working in the government, I worked in the crime lab. And so when I became the lab director, again, it was a lot of telling and mentoring. So mentoring helps people navigate their path throughout their career and in the government, through the politics. So there is a lot of discussion and there's a lot of guidance. That's what people expect.
Mhm.
Um, when I went through the coaching program, this is when I was going through the senior executive program, we had a coach for a couple sessions. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is totally different, but I didn't understand how it worked. All I knew is that it worked. So when I learned about CTI and CPEC, I signed up, and like in that process, I learned that there's certain questions that you need to ask, and you need to follow kind of like a format to get people from A to Z, to really walk through that process and open up their perspective. So I was very focused on the structure of how to do that. But then with APC, what I thought was, and this is one reason why I moved into the next level, is because it was more about coaching, even though you talked about coaching the person and not the problem. I think you told us that every session, it didn't click until APC.
Mm.
Really coaching the person, not trying to solve their problem, having more flow, listening actively, but then reflective inquiry.
Yeah.
And then weaving in the positive psychology, so it's forward thinking, maybe getting context from the past, but moving them forward. so that they're looking ahead and not stuck in the past. So I think that was really helpful for me. And then the teams that we coach with, Maureen and I are still coaching. It's good to get feedback from other people, to see what you're doing, because it's hard to see what you're doing,
Yeah.
unless you're watching recordings and you're really getting feedback from people. And people are pretty honest. And I'm very thankful for that, because I think I could have been a different type of supervisor, a very different type of supervisor if I had this experience when I was in that role.
That's so
Can I
good.
can I add to that, Valerie? Just really quickly, because I think that, to this thing about, yeah, I know you told us in CPEC not to tell people what to do, but I think there's a difference. To me, this was the difference between CPEC and APC, is that you learn technique in CPEC, and technique will only get you so far. So when you feel stuck, you revert back. But APC really helps you to become a
You revert
coach.
back to what you know
You
in
revert back to
other
what you
professions.
know, right? Because
Yeah.
technique can only get you so far, but what you teach us is we go deeper than the technique. It's how do you figure out who you are as a coach, so that it doesn't become about, because the technique is still about, am I doing it right? It's still about me. But this shifts in APC where it really becomes about the person that you're coaching and how you're creating space for that. And all the techniques you show us with that then shift in a lot of ways. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to share, that's why it's not that I didn't listen to you. It was the
Mm-mm.
understanding that I got.
No, and so this is what we know. Like even when I created CPEC back in 2011
Mm.
as a 60 to 70 hour program, there's only but so much we get pack in. So I wanted to equip you as much as possible, knowing that there was more. Just we can't get it all in because it takes time. And what I'm
Hmm.
hearing from each of you is you had all that under your belt. You're solid as coaches, but there is another level and it just takes time. And APC was the place that you could spend that time and learn, as you just said, who am I as a coach? One of the things I'm guessing is that your confidence went up as a coach during the process, right? Because if you're not worried about your technique and
Yes,
it's about how
100%.
you're showing up and not taking from the client because you're worried about yourself,
Mhm.
there's like a different level of confidence and calm that comes with this next level. I love hearing each of you kind of validating that. Um, so I'm curious about like what you're currently working on, whether it's clients or programs or contracts or new elements of how you do the work that you do. Um, but how has APC influenced the direction of your work or the opportunities that you pursue? Whoever wants to jump in with this.
I
Well,
would say, maybe I want to go. It's influenced mine a whole lot. First of all, when I was, in the APC program, I knew that I wanted to take my PCC. So at that time, I saw an opportunity, like a contract opportunity that required you to have a PCC. And I said, you know what, I'm just gonna take a leap of faith here and do it while, I'm in the program. And I put all the requirement down. And lo and behold, I got awarded a contract. It's a 10-year contract with a, state
Just stop,
contract,
Maureen. I want you to repeat that. Got awarded a what?
a 10-year
10,
contract. Yeah.
10 year
Yeah.
contract.
10. Yeah. So
And tell us about the contract. Who are you, sir? If you can't say the client, that's okay. But like, what type of organization? 10-year
no, it's
contract?
it's a state contract, and working with different presidents, in higher education, provosts, deans. Those are the people that the contract is coaching, and it's just fascinating that it happened, in APC, and once I got the notification that you've been awarded, it's like what? Just like get out of here. And so it was just perfect timing, wrapping just when I was wrapping up APC and then getting my PCC, everything just worked out. And then I have, my other contract that, that I was brought in and extended also with for years. And now it's about 100 leaders that, that I'm coaching and training. Yeah.
These, first of all, congratulations. Huge.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Um, and the significance of that sounds very impactful, like from a profitability standpoint, from your ability to be very in a very stable position within your business. Is that how you would describe it?
Yeah, and just hearing the feedback from even from the people that I'm coaching, they're gonna come back and say, I'm now a better leader, I've been promoted and all this happening. I was like, what? Very excited for them, just guiding them in that process. And I remember one of my clients, she was just joking, but it was funny how she said it. She said that, I don't understand, Maureen. Whenever you're in the training or you're coaching, there's just something about your presence. There's just something magical. I was like, magical? What are you talking about? So it just really helped me, understand how I'm applying what I learned, from the APC program, leading with curiosity, just being there for the client. So hearing that from them just really made my day here. But even though they're expressing it like it's magical, it's like we're not like in, in some fairyland or something, but it was great hearing them, say that about the coaching sessions. Yeah.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Mhm.
Deborah or Carol, how about you? How has it influenced the direction of your work or what you're pursuing?
Well, it's helped me in many ways, especially the positive psychology part of it. It's really been helpful. So once I finished the program and I did get my credential, then I was from the government. So an executive in the government reached out, was watching my LinkedIn as I was sharing it, and it brought me in to coach 13 of his executives. Also, I am now a sub on a couple of prime contracts, and they were looking for that too. And the minute I received I think it was less than 24 hours, they put me on a contract with the Marines.
Wow.
So I was really excited to go in and train them. And then recently, I was just asked, and I really focus on career coaching. I want to get people into their ideal career because I know how much of a difference it makes when you're in what you love.
Yeah.
Um, and so I've done some presentations on this, and someone just asked me to be their, it's called the CEO Women's Business School. They asked me to be their key mindset coach for the candidates that come in. So I think, what I learned in this program really helped with that because it created more of an empathy. If you look at my strengths finder, empathy is 34 for me. So I'm like, it really helped me bring focus on that and bring that to my coaching practice because that's essentially what people need. They want someone beside them and not ahead of them, pulling them. And
Yes.
so that really sunk into me. And how has this helped me? Not just in my business, but in my personal life,
Mm.
even with my family, because I have three sisters. And one of my sisters said to me, something's different and I like it. She goes,
Oh,
whatever it is. She's my younger sister. And I really applied, what I learned, especially the VIA character strengths,
yeah.
learning
Mm.
more about that. So all that was helpful, not just
Deborah,
professionally,
what do you
but
think she was seeing? What do you think that she saw that made her say, I see something different and I like it?
she didn't know how to describe it, but I knew what it was. It was the telling versus the listening, and asking questions so they can figure out their own answers. That was
Hmm.
very different for me as an older sister. And so I learned that works with all my sisters. So that's what I do now. It's hard, but I do it.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
So good. Carol, what about you?
Yeah, so I didn't lock in tenure, but I did land two 3-year multiple six-figure contracts where I will be working with the executive leadership team as well as their emerging leaders over the next couple of years. And was able to renew two other contracts once they saw actually because I coached the CEOs in both of these other two contracts, and they were like, I want what you're doing, what you've been doing with me, with my other leaders. And so we're going to be expanding those contracts or have expanded those contracts for the next year or two to be able to make sure that the coaching and the support that I've been giving at the executive level filters down to their other leadership team. So it's definitely, and a lot of that I think really stems from what you said earlier was just a level of confidence in my ability to know what I could deliver. The other thing that I've done too is I've gotten really good at ROI. And so what I've done with the people that I coach through the program, I wasn't doing this as much, but I started actually having them tell me where you are now. And then when we finish, tell me what's been different. And so that I could actually quantify the measurable improvement that they've seen in their coaching. And so being able to have that ROI has been excessively helpful when I go after other contracts to be able to show that the impact of what I've learned in this program and how it's impacted the work that I do with my clients and the return on investment they can get based on what I can bring to the table.
Wow. All three of you, upon finishing, had these really wonderful, lucrative, impactful doors open. And a big piece of it was, hey, I've achieved this next level as a coach. And all of you saying, people have said something's different. That's that in itself is such great evidence. So, what would you tell a coach, somebody who's finished up CPEC, they've got 60 plus hours as a coach, like they're coaching, they understand coaching, they're legitimate as a coach, they might even have their ACC. What would you tell them if they're considering APC, but they're unsure or not ready?
Yeah, I would say, listen, if you have a business or trying to get into a business or launch a business, you need to do this program. I know Valorie said that, everything is at the PCC level, but I would beg to differ to say that we were taught at a master's level. So, I mean, it is a different it's a different level and depth of coaching. I changed, and really transformed in this program and learned so much about myself, but how to service. So if you're looking to really advance your business, advance your credibility, advance your capability to really build a business and a practice, and to support your people, whoever your people are, whatever industry, I'm in leadership development, but whatever industry you're in, to support them at a much deeper level, you need to do this program. You've only scratched the surface if you finish CPEC, but if you really want to step through the door into something deeper and more powerful and more meaningful, then you need to do APC.
Yeah,
There
I
might be
agree.
I agree. I wanted to add to that your environment actually multiplies your dream. So being part of the APC, being part of this environment, being part of, the faculty, just having Valerie rubbing up on you, the possibilities are endless. My vision now for coaching, I just cannot even share them in this call just because of what it was birthed through that APC program. So it's possible, I would say, now is the time. You're here for a reason and you're not going to regret it.
And I would say, along with, both Carol and Maureen, that if you're trying to improve your coaching practice, and this is what I want to be better. I want to be good at what I do. If you're not moving forward, the world is moving forward. So if you're staying where you are, then you're probably moving backwards because everything is moving light speed ahead. So really, if you want to optimize what you do and really provide a good service to your customer in the best possible way, in a deeper way, in a more meaningful way, where you're connecting with them on a more emotional level, then I would say go for the APC. You have nothing to lose. The other thing is surrounding yourself with like-minded people, because ACC people, sometimes if they don't want to move ahead, they're okay with staying where they are. But if you're surrounded by those people, you're kind of the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So you really want to, if you want to stay focused, even when you're having issues and challenges, and trying to figure out, why isn't my coaching working? APC can help you get there, because the trainers that are in there, they can answer the questions. Plus, you're building your skill level beyond the majority of the people that are out there being coaches. So you're trying to get out of the people pile is what I want to say. Just get out of the people pile and really advance, to that next level, so that, you attract what you bring to other people. You kind of attract what you give out to the world. So I would say, you don't have anything to lose and only great things to gain from the program.
I would second that, Deborah, because I've had people, new clients that I've been coaching say to me, I've had a coach before and I don't even know how they call themselves coaches compared to how you're coaching me. That
Mm.
it's a level of distinction in terms of your ability to coach at a level that supersedes, I don't know what other people are going through or trained, but I've had clients literally say I've had coaches in the past and I don't feel like I've been coached. I feel like I finally have a coach because of what I apply from my learning to my practice now.
Wow. This is exactly what we were intending and aiming for. This was the vision. And I appreciate everything you all are saying. Even more, I'm just excited for each of you because you have a vision for what you are supposed to be doing as a coach, and to know that what we've created has been helping you in a fairly short amount of time to realize those visions at a bigger level. I mean, you started APC in September of 24, finished in March of 25, went through the certification process. Here we are, not even the end of 2025, and you're talking about all the ways your business has already grown, the ways that you see yourselves differently, the way that clients are experiencing the coaching differently. And you're right, Carol, even though I said, hey, we know that the APC, you have to be evaluated at least a PCC level, the vision for the program, and as we described it to all of the faculty in the program, is to teach you at the MCC level, knowing that if we teach you at the MCC level, you're at least going to be at the PCC level. But we want you to know what MCC looks like so that you can practice at that level. And it really is different. So the first thing we teach you is the 3 levels of coaching mastery. So you understand how each of the core competencies is delivered at each level, which is really, really powerful. We wanted to make sure that you're regularly listening to your own coaching and learning how to evaluate that. Because at this level, you should be able to mentor, coach others, but you can't mentor, coach others if you don't know how to listen for what it sounds like to be at these different levels. And then we were very intentional about the coaches that are training within the program. So I'm just proud of y'all. I know you're proud of yourselves, but I'm excited. And I'm also excited because we've taken feedback and built even upon what we did with this pioneer group to launch the group that's starting in 2026, so that this program becomes like CPEC, where it's going twice a year. As people are finishing CPEC, they can directly enter into APC. And of course, anyone who's already graduated at level 1 can enter into APC at any time. But this is really the vision, and you guys are the realization of the vision even more so than I may have envisioned. And that is like, I'm just going to high five because that is like, yes. So, as you all know, we have APC coming up. Our orientations in February. We are still in an early bird period where you're going to, if you pay in full, you're getting $500 off of the program when you register by December 15th. So that is coming up. Registration is open. Also, if you register by this Monday, the 8th, we've got a really neat opportunity coming up, which is a chance to win a one-on-one session with one of our APC faculty, L. Michelle Smith, to be coached around business development. I know y'all remember her courses within APC around marketing and business development, because we know that as we surveyed everyone, that was an important piece. And of course, if you got questions, schedule an interest call if you've got more questions with Alexis Murray, who is our level 2 program manager. But you may have questions right now. So I'm just going to open up in the time that we have left. If anyone has any questions, I may have missed some in the chat. Alexis, if I have, you might go ahead and read those questions. But if anyone else has
Yeah.
questions, just raise your hand.
No, this has been great. There was one question that Deb Johnny shared in the chat around um, career coaching and whether you need any sort of specialization. Deborah did respond. Thank you so much for that response, Deborah. But if you have any other thoughts or would like to add anything to that, that would be great.
Oh, for career coaching? Well, the reason why I focus on career coaching is because I found a career that I absolutely loved in forensics. And I remember getting trained, and then the next thing I knew, I was retiring. But what I found throughout the journey was that the majority of people I met, I would say at least 90% were in the wrong role. And so they wanted something more. They wanted to make a difference. They didn't know how to get there. They were miserable, depressed, and they didn't know where to go for help. So I decided to focus mine on career coaching because that's the thing that I did, and I learned from it, and I wanted to share all the things that I had done. And that's another thing. It was very encouraging going through this program because I stepped out of the box and did things that I wouldn't have done. Like I wrote a book. I wasn't really expecting to write a book. And it was all on career coaching. Like how do you get things mapped out in a way that you're intentional about moving forward with your career path and your succession plan? And I would say every time I give this talk, even now, people will come up to you afterwards and say, I want to quit my job. I want to find something that is really meaningful. So that's why I decided to focus on career coaching. There's no specialization in it that I found anywhere, but maybe Valorie or someone else knows. But anyway, you just have to specialize in the thing that's really in your heart. And that's where people connect with you.
Yeah, I have found that so we focus at the CaPP Institute on these core coaching skills to elevate as a coach. And we find that many of our graduates have an area of interest or specialty almost organically. Like when I think about Carol and leadership development, obviously her educational background feeds into that, but also what she's done in her previous career. That was the case with me. Also, some of the things happened organically because of my own experience. So many of my clients came to me over the years because they were wanting to make the leap from employee to entrepreneur because I had done that successfully. And so I have found that to be one of the best ways to specialize, because if you develop your own methodology or your own approach, for example, Deborah, her own approach to how do you get clarity about the right career? How do you transition into that right career? That can be really, really powerful. So I think really building on the experience you already have helps you create the specialty that's going to be best for you. All right. Do we have any other questions? Debjani.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. It's night here. It was wonderful listening to all of you, and all of my questions have been answered.
Oh, good.
Yeah, of course, I'll be applying for APC tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, I had a question. I've been thinking about EQ. Nowadays, EQ is a lot in demand. So sometimes I wonder, because APC is going to teaches us about positive psychology. We learned in CPEC also, and we started applying in our coaching. So what about EQ? If one is looking for, emotional intelligence or EQ, so client comes, can this be applied, or I can do a separate certification course? I just wonder in
So
EQ.
I think EQ is very important. I also
Mhm.
think we can't do everything. So we maintain our focus in positive psychology. Obviously, that's where my background comes from. And what we do in APC is build on that. We talk through the neuroscience of coaching, which I think is really important. I think our pioneers really enjoyed that class. We also have a focus on the personal reflection piece of growing yourself using those positive psychology principles. My advice would be, if you really have an interest in EQ or any other, bit of information that informs your coaching, to, yes, pursue additional training in that area that you can apply with your coaching. I think that's very wise. And so I think from our standpoint, like I said, look, I have all kinds of areas that I'd be like, ooh, this is good. That's good. What we're good at is the positive psychology. And that does not negate other areas that also may equip you in the specific way that you want to coach. So I think if you have that interest, earmarking some money to invest in the additional training. Sometimes that additional may just be the knowledge you gain. You may come up with your own, like, I'm gonna read this series of books or get involved with this group, and you might gain what you need in that way, or you may say, no, I want to get some kind of certificate or certification, and I think that's fine too. I'm looking at these ladies in particular. All of them have certifications and other things besides what they've done at the CaPP Institute that also inform what they do. So I think that's just a part of your lifelong learning process that can help you build on your experience and your training.
Yeah, can I add something to that? Do you mind, Valerie? And she's right. So as Valerie said, I have like a bunch of other certifications she didn't even mention. And one of them, I do have an EQI. I have a certification in that. I see it as I love having a toolbox. And I love having an understanding of using positive psychology. I love the coaching tools because for me, one of the foundations of EQ is really about listening and emotional regulation. And that's a part of a skill set in coaching and something that we actually learn how to do when you are listening deeper and you're helping your client kind of, think about how things are. When we do the cognitive piece that we've done, the neuroscience piece that we did within the APC program, to really understand where people are in terms of their feelings and emotions. So some of the aspects of that, I'm not trying to say this is an EQ program, it's Values Rise Positive Psychology, but there's some depth and connection to it. So I do have a certification in EQ and in DISC and some other things. So I love the toolbox and I love having positive psychology along with that. And so I just wanted to share that as well.
Thank you, Carol. That's super helpful because, yeah, the principles definitely overlap. So, what we're talking about in EQ represents what positive psychology is, which is the study of human flourishing. Right. And so I think it fits very nicely there. I saw
Thank you so
Brenda's.
much. Thank you.
Absolutely, Deb Johnny. Is it recommended that one has a certain minimum number of years of coaching experience to benefit? Mm-mm. We have equipped you. If you graduate from CPEC, a level 1 accredited program, you're ready for APC. I will say that when we started APC, that first few weeks, there was a lot of, am I ready? Like they were in the program and asking, am I ready? And there was a lot of us assuring, you are ready. Okay. We would not allow you into the program if we had not equipped you to be ready for the program. I don't know if y'all have anything to say about that, but I think there is sometimes a confidence, like I have to be able to do more. No, we created the program for those who've gotten to this point, but you're ready to go further. So if you finish CPEC, you are ready. We've already said you were ready, and it's not a certain number of years. Additionally, like we said, we're teaching you to coach at a higher level, regardless of how many client hours you have. So when we evaluate you at the end, we're saying you coach at the level at least of a PCC, even if you don't have the 500 hours of client work that are required to get that designation from the ICF. So don't worry, you wouldn't be on this call if you weren't ready for APC. All right. I think that finishes up our questions. The rigor, I think, is extremely important. There is rigor in our program, and that's on purpose. But we keep everybody in the boat. We're on a journey, And the goal is for everybody to still be in the boat when we get to our destination, which is your APC. That's how we design it. And just like in CPEC, like our faculty just really cares about you and your journey. And it's a really great intimate community. And I'd love for you to be a part of that community and for us to be a part of your journey in going to the next level as a coach. So like I said, when you register by Monday, you'll be entered to win this session with L. Michelle Smith around business development. And if you register by the 15th, even if it's after the 8th, you're going to get $500 off when you pay in full. So that's 10% of what the program cost is. And the program starts. Our orientation is February, is it the 25th, Alexis?
Yep. Orientation is going to be Wednesday, February 25th. And it'll be recorded if for any reason you have to miss it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to thank Dr. Carol Parker-Walsh and Deborah Leben and Dr. Maureen Kwende for just sharing so openly of your experience. And also to just say, we are cheering you on. I mean, this is just, you're 6 months out of, well, maybe it's more than 6 months. I guess it's 8 months since you finished, but like to just see what you've done so far this year, we know the best is still yet to come. So we're going to be overwhelmed to see the impact that you're making. But we're excited for you and we're cheering you on. And the same is true with all our APC pioneers. We've got some amazing coaches and amazing coaching community. And we want to just invite the rest of you to get on board for that next level and what that looks like and the transformation you're going to experience and that you're going to help your clients to experience. So if you've got questions, just reach out to us. All that information is in the chat. And of course, you'll be getting an email with a link to this recording and the information you need to be able to register. So everyone, thank you for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season and a great weekend. We're headed into a CTI weekend, if y'all remember CTI. So we're all here in the office today excited about going into that. But I'm so glad we had this opportunity. Deborah, Maureen, and Carol, thank you so very much for joining me today. And everyone that took the time out, thanks for joining all of us. And we will see y'all later. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you.